Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to East Central Missouri and the world, and welcome to the James Strong Show podcast number 273. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for making us a part of your day. I appreciate it. This podcast was recorded on the morning of Saturday, June the 25th, from the James Strong Studio in Western St. Charles County. Have you noticed it's just difficult to get things done nowadays? And I think to yourself, well, what do you mean difficult to get things done? Is this because, look, Strong, you're just getting older and it's hard for old people to do stuff? Well, yes, but no. No, that's not what I'm talking about. While that may be true, that's not the topic of today's essay. It's just that everything has too many moving parts, and businesses have changed the way they approach the needs of the customer. And while that's always been happening, it seems like it's been happening a whole lot more, actually, ever since COVID hit. Depends on who you talk to. We are either still in the throngs of a pandemic, or it has become an endemic, or it was it was made up by the government. I think door number one, door number two may be accurate. Door number three, not so much. But things have certainly settled down. Okay, you're not wearing masks outside of a doctor's office. I've not been required to wear masks anywhere. And you can certainly understand why you have to wear them in a doctor's office. It's full of sick people, okay? But ever since the pandemic, things have gotten different. Things have gotten more difficult. And it would be bad enough, in my opinion, that things have gotten more difficult for the customer. But it's done under the guise of for your convenience or for a better experience or to better serve you. So for your convenience, to better serve you, we're going to make it a lot harder for you to do your thing. Now, life has never been easy, but it just seems like it's gotten harder and harder for no good reason. Okay, I guess this is probably the third podcast in a row where I'm going to be talking about third world problems. Last week we had financial guru Karen Gutting on the podcast talking about that. The time before, we talked about it just 3 times in a row now. And it's mainly because I don't mean to complain so much, because these are all first world problems, okay? However, the way I'm wired, good, bad, or indifferent, is good enough never is. So you should always be trying to improve something, trying to make it a little bit better, trying to make it a little bit, if not easier, if you have to do an extra step or two, make sure that step or two is, and I'll use a buzzword, value added, okay? Make sure you're really getting bang for the buck. I see it doesn't matter if it's in a restaurant, if it's my gym, doctor's appointments, it doesn't matter. Everything just has so many extra layers of BS that you have to go through just to get the same thing accomplished. Okay, we're going to talk about that in today's essay. I'm going to give data points about trying to justify what I'm talking about, or at least to make my point. Before we do that, let me talk a little bit about Facebook. Okay, people do slam Facebook, and I'm not a huge Facebook fan for many things. I think Facebook is I'm not even going to call it a tool so much. I'm going to call it a potential form of entertainment, let's say, okay? And I have used it for that, not so much arguing with strangers over politics, but more, 90% of what I use Facebook for is I look at websites, old manual machine shop websites, okay? How to fix an old car websites, old Jaguar websites, stuff that I can either learn something or be entertained by someone who has accomplished something that either I am trying to accomplish, have accomplished myself, or perhaps would like to accomplish in the future. Or just kudos to this guy for bending over backwards and getting something done, okay? Case in point, I posted, it was on one of my old Jaguar car restoration websites that I look at via Facebook. This guy is touring Southern Africa in an old, I think it's a 51, maybe a 52 Jaguar Mark 7. Now, just not South Africa, but he's going up into the Transvaal. He's going into Namibia, which is just, I mean, those parts of the world, folks, are desolate. Picture something like northern Nevada, okay, except for 10% of the people and 300 times bigger, okay? That's the areas this guy's going into. I'm not going to say they're dangerous because really there's, outside of running into an elephant or a rhinoceros, you're really not in danger of running into any people, okay? But if a 1951 Jaguar Mark 7 breaks down on the road in the middle of Namibia where you maybe even don't have cell phone service, you're not going to go to to AutoZone and pick up parts for this, okay? So this guy brings along with him extra points, condensers, hoses, 2 wheels, okay? If you have a flat, you need to change the wheel, okay? So just an adventure. And these are the things that make Facebook fun, at least to me. Okay, let's get on to our essay, though. I do want to bring up that point just because I was doing that this morning, looking at this guy's website, and I actually posted it on my Facebook page. If you're interested in looking at it, I found the pictures fascinating, and they made me smile. Okay, then, today's podcast, the difficulty of getting things done. Nothing's easy, and it seemed like things started getting hard back when COVID hit. And I'm going to give you an example. I think I've touched on this story before, but if I have, it's been a while. During the whole COVID mess, when things started opening up in the spring, because COVID hit, I don't know what, wintertime, it got a little bit warmer. Things started opening up. Restaurants started opening up outdoors. So the trophy wife and I went to a local restaurant that had opened up like an outdoor patio. Okay, it was an English pub type of place. And we both got I think she got a glass of Guinness, I got a Smithwick's, and we both ordered fish and chips, okay? And the fish and chips were your standard fish and chips. You look on the menu, you've got your piece of cod, you've got your chips, and then on the side, the mushy peas, okay? Just your standard English fare fish and chips. They came out to my table, and there was the fish, there were the chips, and there were no mushy peas. And I asked the waitress, I said, "Where's the mushy peas?" She said, "What?" I said, "Where are the mushy peas with my fish and chips?" She says, "Oh, it doesn't come with mushy peas." I said, "Yeah, it does. Look, bring me the menu. I'll show you." So she did, and I showed her. I said, "It's on the picture, and it even lists it in the description. Fish, chips, mushy peas. Where's the mushy peas?" She looked at me, honest to goodness. She looked at me, rolled her eyes, clicked her tongue, and said, "Yeah, COVID," and walked away. And I looked at the trophy wife and I said, "What does COVID have to do with not putting mushy peas on my plate?" Bottom line is I didn't get them. I ate my meal. Everything was fine. Okay. I thought, what the heck? But that's been the excuse. Why are things difficult? Why are things late? Why are things more expensive? Why aren't you doing what you used to do? You're doing less, providing me less for more money. The excuse is, COVID. And many times I think it could be true because we do have a supply chain problem right now. But just to say, COVID, it seems like that's an excuse. It's just something people throw out there. And I think that the businesses, organizations, even individuals have expanded this to just say, COVID, I really don't care about you. That's what it means. I really don't care about you. I'm going to do what I want, when I want, how I want it. And if you don't like it, quite frankly, you can just leave. That may as well be what they're saying. A few more examples. The gym that I've been a member of, Trophy Wife and I have been a member of Club Fitness. I'll go ahead and use the name for 18 years. In fact, all my boys were members when they lived here. Okay. Then they moved out and they got their own gym memberships. But 18 years, maybe a little longer, might be even 19. Okay. We've been members of Club Fitness. And I like it. Yeah, there's the things that they've done that have been that I haven't liked, but they do one thing that I don't like, then they do something that I do like, and you know what? For the most part, it's fine. But the two biggest things about Club Fitness that I like, number one, the rates have been the same for 18 years. That's amazing. Okay, now. The amenities have dropped down. They don't staff the gym anymore. There's nobody there. There's nobody at this gym, okay? Nobody at all, which means the wet wipes are empty. The bathroom trash cans get full. The televisions get turned off, and there's nobody to talk to about the problems. All right. I can live with all that. I don't like it, but I can live with all that. I can tell you I write them a note, put the note on the desk, and most of the time, well, more than 50% of the time, the next time I come back, the problem is fixed. So, okay, it's a little bit of a hassle, but I get why they're doing it. And hey, let's be honest, they haven't raised the rates in 18 years. The line of demarcation may have been drawn for Club Fitness. Here's how you get into Club Fitness. Or let me rephrase this. Here's how you used to get into Club Fitness. You used to walk in the door, give them your name, they'll look you up on the computer, and then you go do your thing. Later, you were issued a tag with a barcode. It was a little piece of plastic you hang on your keychain, maybe 2 inches by 3/4 of an inch. Stick it on your keychain. It's got a barcode on it. You beep the barcode as you walk in the door. You're good. They then gave you a card that replaced the barcode that goes on your keychain. And it was a chip in a card, and it was too big, and it wouldn't fit on my keychain. Okay, so that's one extra thing I have to carry. And it's so you could swipe the door and open the door because the attendant was there less often. Just an editorial, early on with Club Fitness, they would have 3 people playing grab ass behind the counter, so they couldn't really be bothered with talking to you because they were talking about what they're doing themselves, but that's another story for another day. I understand why they got rid of all their people because their people didn't do anything anyway, but again, another story for another day. So I have to carry the card, which is an inconvenience, but it's still okay. It's a card. I can keep it in the car. I can keep it in my pocket. Life is good. Life is fine. They've now made an announcement. You walk in, it says in big, bold letters, alert. Action must be taken. I'm thinking, what the heck's going on here? Well, you have to download the app onto your phone. And the cards very shortly aren't going to work. You have to buzz in via your telephone, via the app. In other words, you have to give them all kinds of information so they can access all the information on your phone, pick up all the algorithms, sell that information, and you get what I'm talking about. But the worst part is they're doing this for my convenience. I love that. I love that. Hey, could you please cut off your right arm? For your convenience, of course. Here's why I don't want to download the app. First of all, I don't want them getting into my algorithms or into my business. I don't want them to mine all the activity on my phone because that's what happens when you download an app. The app's now on the phone. They can see everything. And Club Fitness knows what I want to buy, what I want to do. In theory, it's so they can better serve me. In reality, it's so they can sell me more crap. Okay? I'm tired of people trying to sell me crap. I'll buy what I want. Thank you very much. But I said, well, you know what? What the heck? They're not raising the rates. Let me see about this. Okay, you do this, do that, do that, do this. Download the app downloaded. Enter your email address. So I enter jamesstrongshow@hotmail.com. That's my email address, right? They said, nope, that's not your email address at all. Let's try it again. You can't use this email address. Reason being, somebody else is already using it. Okay, it's me. So it wants me to change my email address. It wants me to give them a unique email address just for them. Am I really going to go to open up a brand new email address just so my dopey app can recognize it? No, I'm not going to do that. So we'll see who blinks here. If I go to Club Fitness and my dopey card that I didn't want to begin with doesn't open the door, I'll bang on the door and one of my buddies inside the gym will open it up for me. And that will work at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning. It may not work on 5 o'clock on a Tuesday morning because there may not be enough people there to worry about it. If they do that for my convenience, it's going to be a real convenience for me because I'm not going to have to write them a check. Actually, 2 checks, one for me, one for the trophy wife, every month for my convenience. So it's really going to be for their convenience because they're not going to have to worry about billing me anymore. Why are they doing this? I don't know. COVID. My father's doctor's appointments. Another reason why things have just gotten so difficult. As I've mentioned before, several months ago, my mother passed away, and my mother and father had been married for, 63 years plus. My mother passed away, and Dad is still very, very alert. There's nothing wrong with his mind, but he's 86, so he needs help, okay? He also is darn near deaf, so he can't really talk on the telephone. So if he has a doctor's appointment or something like that, somebody has to go with him because when the doctor tells him, hey, here's what's going on, he can't hear them. Well, the doctor's, solution is, well, just have your father go down to his My Mercy account and upload the information and read it. No, he's 86. He doesn't upload information. I do all that for him to see what's going on. And me and my brothers manage his care just fine. However, have you found how to talk to a doctor or make an appointment nowadays? Once upon a time, you call the office, you get somebody, you schedule an appointment, you're done. Now you're going to get an email or a text, or it's on a My Mercy or a MyChart account or something like that, which, by the way, I like those a lot. It gives you a one-stop shopping place to look at all your stuff. The advantage for them is you stay in the group, you get all the information. The advantage for me is one-stop shopping. I can look at all the information for all the doctors all the time. So it's not a bad thing. It's technology that I have embraced, technology that I like. However, you can no longer call the doctor's office to do something like this. What you do is you call a number. Then you have to put in the information about the patient. You put in the patient's telephone number. Then you put in the patient's date of birth. Then you enter the telephone number where you want the call to be placed. That's right. They will call you at their convenience. Now, they'll call you soon. In fact, I guarantee they'll call you within the next 24 hours. And so far, they always have. But here's how it works. The thing about my dad, this week I took some time off of work to help him out with some appointments. He was having some problems. It required seeing multiple doctors. Each doctor said, okay, you need to have this test here, this test there, this test here. You need to reschedule with another doctor to see this. And of course, all that had to be done via call the number, put in his date of birth, put in his phone number, put in your phone number, and we'll call you back. We had to do 6 different tests. He had to see 2 different doctors. One of those doctors, I said, sorry, you can't see this guy because he's retired. You got to find another one. Okay, so you got to find another doctor. I'm doing this all on my phone whilst taking Dad from different doctors and different testing places, all at Mercy Complex and on Ballas Road. But here's the thing. You can't talk to anybody. You enter all this information in after going through the nut roll of his date of birth, my phone number, his phone number, and they call you back. Okay. When you've done that 4 or 5 times, inevitably what happens is somebody does call you back. You talk to them. You get everything resolved. Okay. But while you're doing that, one of the other doctors calls you and says, hey, I'm trying to get a hold of you. Call back. So you call back, but you don't get that individual. You go through the whole nut roll. His phone number, his date of birth, your phone number, and then they call you back. I don't know why they do it that way. Now, actually, I do know why they do it that way. It's not for my convenience. It's for their convenience. We will call you when we feel like it. We will call you when we have to. We will call you when we have the time. Okay? It's a problem. It's a hassle. And I will tell you that I'm fortunate enough where I'm okay with technology. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably a solid 5, maybe a 6, certainly not a 10, but I can get it done, usually. Who gets sick more? Old people, middle-aged people, young people? Yeah, it's old people, okay? If my father had to rely on going through this nut roll to talk to his doctors, quite frankly, he would die because he can't hear what they're saying. He can't get online. What they do is they put it in an order for a test. You have to go online, see that order is there, and then schedule the appointment for that order. And the doctor will say, well, look, we told you need to have you do a test. Well, no, you didn't tell him anything. Well, yeah, we did. We called him on his telephone. Okay, I've told you. He doesn't hear. You have to call me. Well, it's on his My Mercy account. Okay, he doesn't access that information. So it's just very difficult. And for the average Joe, I'd say for probably 80% of the population, it works just fine. Even though you're busy, even though it's a hassle, even though it's a pain in the neck, you can navigate through it. I have. But many can't, especially older folks who don't embrace that technology. But it's done for my convenience. And by the way, we didn't used to do this thing, but we kind of have to do it now because, well, COVID. The next example. Is anybody familiar with the Great American Life Insurance Company? Does the name sound familiar? Well, if you're a baseball fan, it might. They're stationed in Cincinnati, and actually, the Reds Stadium, I don't know what it used to be called, but now it's called the Great American Ballpark. And it's because Great American Life Insurance has bought the naming rights for that ballpark. They're a big deal. They have $36 billion in asset. They are either part of Mass Mutual or Mass Mutual is a part of them. I forget who bought who, but they're all the same family, okay? They're a big deal. And my mother had a life insurance policy with them. And it was actually an annuity linked to a life insurance policy that's currently paying like 2.6%, which isn't much, but it's pretty doggone good. It's better than a savings account at Bank of America, which pays 0.01%. Okay. So my financial advisor said, because they've contacted us, said, look, we have a death benefit for your mom. You need to decide how you want it. And just so you know, because this was an annuity, some of it's going to be taxable, some of it's not. So you need to talk to your accountant about this. Fine, I get that. My financial advisor says, 2.6% is pretty good. Instead of cashing that thing out, why don't you see if they just can't roll that thing over into the annuity and continue to draw the 2.6%? From a financial standpoint, that's going to be advantageous. Okay, fine. I'll do it. And in fact, the letter they sent was a very nice letter saying, sorry for the loss of the lady. Here's what you need to do. Fill out all these forms. But if you have any questions, call. And they even had a person's name. I'll just say Jane Doe, okay? I forget her name. Call Jane Doe at this number and she will help you. So I called her because I wanted, hey, can I roll this thing over into an annuity? Can I do this? Help me out here. So I called, got somebody else and said, hey, may I speak to so-and-so? Well, may I ask who's calling and what's this all about? I said, well, I got this letter. It says to call this person. They said, oh, okay, well, let me see if I can find her, which was an odd thing to say, but okay. Shortly thereafter, hello, this is Jane. Hi, Jane. My name is blah, 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 blah. I'm calling about this and this and that. Would you like a policy number so you can see what this is all about? Her response was, Okay. Not sure. I'd love to help you. It was, okay. So I gave her the policy number. She looked it up. First of all, I'm very happy because I called a phone number and got a person. That just doesn't happen anymore, but it did this time. She says, I don't know if we can turn that into an annuity or not. We might. I said, okay, well, if you can't just roll that thing over, do you have some other product that you can perhaps have us buy instead of just putting it into a bank account that gets 0.01%? She said, I don't know. I'll have to see. Can I research this and call you back tomorrow? Of course. Thank you. She hung up, or I hung up. Somebody hung up. We both hung up. I thought to myself, that's an odd way to approach it. Here I am saying, hey, you just sent me a check or a note saying you need to send me some money. I'm wanting to reinvest that money from you. Can you help me? First of all, it's almost like I woke her up out of a nap. She had no interest in helping me at all. But that's okay. She didn't have the information at her fingertips, and maybe she was in the middle of 17 other things. I don't know. She says she'll call me back tomorrow. Guess what? She didn't. So I waited over a week. No phone call. By this point, I've made the decision, look, if these people are so unresponsive, I'm not going to rely on them at all to invest the money. I'm just going to yank it out, put it into the account that draws almost no interest. But you know what? It's done. I'll know where it is. Dad will be happy. I'll have that off my plate. Life will be good. Then Dad says, you know, I think your mom and I both had some type of a death benefit with this thing. Could you find that out? Okay, well, I'll call back and ask. So I call back, asked to speak to the same lady. I'm sorry she's not here today. Is there anybody else that can help me? Can you help me? He says, no. To do something like this, you need, and he named the title this person has to have, some special title. Okay, they have to be a such and such a, and I'm not that, so I'm sorry I can't help you. Okay, I get that. Thank you for your honesty. I said, is there anybody else there with that same title who can help me? He says, yes, there's Julie. Okay, well, may I speak with Julie? Nope, she's on the phone with another customer. I said, well, is there anybody else there that can help me with this problem? He says, nope, only Julie. And I thought to myself, again, this is a $36 billion company, and you've got one person to help me? One? I can't be the only person calling, okay? You know what? I'll have Julie call you back. All right, fine. Well, guess what? Julie hasn't called back either. So nobody will call me back. And I'm thinking to myself, what is this all about? All I want to do, I want to buy something from you. Not only am I inconveniencing you with wanting to write a check for your stuff, things you do, but you're not calling me back. You don't want to deal with me. Now, why is this? There may be a lot of reasons. Could it be because Julie and Janie don't even care about me? Maybe. Could it be that Julie and Janie's department used to have 12 people in it, and now they have 2? And Janie took the day off and Julie's overwhelmed? Or maybe Janie's, air quotes, working from home. Translation, effing off. And Julie's having to pull the whole workload. Who knows? Who knows what the reason is? But it just amazes me that things are done this way right now. In theory, some things have gotten easier. In theory. For instance, buying things online, okay, have gotten easier. Let me rephrase that. Buying things online used to be easier. They too are getting more difficult. And there was an article in today's Wall Street Journal that explained why. And I've noticed this. If you go to Amazon, and we're an Amazon Prime customer, okay? Once upon a time, I loved going to Amazon and buying stuff. The price was the same as anywhere else. You click, it comes the next day. It's at least as cheap, sometimes cheaper. You don't have to get in the car and get it. Life is good. Well, a couple of things have happened with Amazon lately. I don't know if you've noticed it. First of all, rarely are they cheapest. They're just not. Yeah, you get free delivery, but especially larger items, sometimes those larger items are a bunch more. If you buy a $100 item that's weighs 25 or 30 pounds, friends, that thing's going to be about $20 more than you can get it at Walmart. Identical. Bottom line is, yeah, we have free shipping. No, we don't. You pay for it in the price of your item. So their stuff it's not any cheaper. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's the same. Quite often it costs more. I have supplements that I take, like a pre-workout, post-workout before I go to the gym. And it's a special brand I've used forever. I used to buy it on Amazon because it was the same price as Walmart. Okay? And I don't have to fight the Walmart sideshow when I go. Well, guess what? It's not the same price anymore. It's a lot more. I'm talking about 20% more than Walmart. And by the way, yep, you'll have it tomorrow. In fact, sometimes they say, yep, you order this early in the morning, you'll have it this afternoon. I don't. It's always a day later than they tell me. Now, you pay extra money for Prime, so you get it the next day, sometimes the same day, and I almost never do. So it's not as advertised. Now, can I wait the extra day? Sure. Is it ever an inconvenience? Rarely. I'm together enough, whereas I can handle that, okay? I don't have to say, oh, if I need something now, I'll go to the store and buy it. If I can use it the next day or two, I'll get it online. It's a time saver. It's a gas saver. You don't have to fight the sideshow at Walmart. Except for Amazon now costs a whole lot more. And Prime is what, $120 a year? But you know what? It's $120 a year, but you get the stuff the next day. Or not. And I've also found a way around the Walmart sideshow. Go early in the morning. You go at 6 a.m., they haven't come out of the woodwork yet. There's only a handful of people there, mostly people that work there, and you can get in, get out, it's fine. And the prices are cheaper than Amazon. Never more, usually cheaper. Now, do you have to get in your car and go? Sure. Is there a cost associated with that? Of course. But if you pick up several things, and if you can save $15, you know what? I have a Walmart that's about 2 miles from my house, 3 miles from my house, okay? It's not a big deal. And to save $15, that's a big deal. Oh, and by the way, Amazon, I've got your dopey Alexa, so you may be listening to me right now, so hear this. I won't be renewing my Amazon membership. I'm not going to, because you're raising the price, okay? We don't know how much you're raising, but you've already said, look, gas prices, we have to pay our people a living wage now, so the price is going up. Okay, not for me, it's not. You've lost me. You've lost me with your bad service. You've lost me with your high prices. You've lost me, period. But the number one place where you've lost me, and the Wall Street Journal article points to this. If you've ever tried to buy something rather generic on Amazon, the example they use is a garlic press. The example I will use is a part for my father's car. My father's car broke. It needed a several motors for or gear assemblies, I guess, for to open and close his the doors for his heating system. AutoZone wanted $50 for two. I found them on Amazon for half the price. Okay, they look the same. They're fine. They're half the price, and I bought them. And I installed them. And it took the better part of a day. They were hard to get to, but I installed them. And they worked for about a month. And then they broke again. So he's got the same problem as before. Now, what's the deal with that? Well, the odd thing about this, and I found this odd, because if you're looking for an assembly, a gear assembly to open and close the doors for the heating system of a Chevrolet Impala, how many would you expect to find? Okay, there's probably 2 or 3 different brands, okay? There were about 17 choices on Amazon. ranging from $25, which is what I bought, to about $125. But they looked the same. Exactly the same. I think, well, why would I pay $125 for this and $25 for that? Why would I pay $125 when I can pay $25? Because you blow up the picture, you look on there, exactly the same. Exactly the same. And because you could even tell from the die cast mold on the casing, the injection points were in the same place. In other words, they came out of the same mold. They came out of the same factory. And if you've noticed about these made in China parts, the brands are never anything you heard of. In fact, often they're not even a word. There'll be 5 or 6 letters together and they don't make a word. Often they don't even have a vowel. They do this because now it's unique. It's this brand. And the Chinese just throw letters out there. QWXY2. That's the brand, okay? And it's cheaper, so people buy it. Oh, and by the way, this is the Amazon Choice. You've all seen that, Amazon Choice. You know how they come to the term Amazon Choice? Well, they get the best reviews, okay? Oh, okay, well, the best reviews, the cheapest price, Amazon Choice. Guess what? Most of these reviews are just made up. They invent them. They make them up. That's why you never see bad reviews because they're not going to make up any bad reviews. They're going to make up good ones. They're lies. They're deceptions. And Amazon says they're trying to do their best to weed these out. No, they're not. No, they're not. Oh, and if they really are trying their best, they need to try a bit harder because your best isn't close to good enough. I don't know why they do this. I have to think it's greed, because these Chinese companies, if they want to do business in the U.S., the easiest way is just put it on Amazon. You don't have to market it. You don't have to do anything. Now, Amazon has raised the advertising prices for them, some 50% over the past couple of years. So they're cutting into their profit margin. So how do you make money? If Amazon's cutting into your profit margin and costs are going up, well, you reduce the quality. A funny thing has happened on Amazon lately, according to this article. The trend's gone away from the Chinese stuff, and more people are buying the name brand made in USA stuff. Because, what's the old saying? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Okay? People are fooled once, but not twice. And it's getting difficult to find anything online that's going to work. Well, you can just return it. Okay, stop it. And it is easy to return stuff on Amazon. The easiest way? Well, you take it to Kohl's and you send it back. Okay, but let's go back to my story about what I did. I spent the better part of a day installing these parts in my father's car. So what am I going to do? Spend the better part of a day taking them out and putting new ones in, and then going into my car, driving to Kohl's and dropping them off? Okay, driving to Kohl's and dropping them off is not any big deal. I have a Kohl's that's about 7 miles from my house. But remember why you buy stuff on Amazon, so you don't have to get out of your easy chair. Now I have to get out of my easy chair. Oh, and by the way, I have a parts store 3 miles away. I have a Walmart 3 miles away. I have a Target 4 miles away. Kohl's is 7 miles away. It's not convenient anymore. The quality's bad. They're raising their prices, and it's not convenient. Why has Amazon decided to go this route? Of course you know the answer. If you've been listening to this podcast, you know what the answer is. And the answer is, COVID. I don't know where this is going. I don't know where it's going to wind up. I've said this many times, and maybe it's always true, but we do live in interesting times. The economy doing what it's doing right now is just, maybe it's unprecedented. I don't know, with the up and down. Last week we had, and we had this, we had Kieran Gunning on the podcast. We talked about being officially in a bear market. What does that mean? Well, that means that we are down 20% from the high of the stock market. What did the stock market do this week. Depending on the index, it was up between 6 and 8%. Okay, so if we're down 22%, now we're up 6%. I mean, is it coming back? Is it going to be down 10% next week? Don't know. But these are first world problems, friends. I can't sit on my armchair and reliably buy parts for a car anymore. Okay, maybe you have to go old school and go to the parts store, okay? Or take it to have somebody fix it or whatever. But the difficulty of getting things done is just, it's sapping the strength of people. Now, here's a prediction. Here is the strongman prediction. I will tell you that my predictions are normally rather vague and purposely so. And they're almost always right. This problem will be fixed. I don't know when. I don't know how. But the problem will be fixed. And I base that on the fact that it always does get fixed. Eventually, it always gets fixed. Don't know how. Okay, you're going to ask for an example. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a fantastic example. When I was a young man, automobiles broke all the time, okay? They were a whole lot easier to work on. In fact, you hear people say, wow, these cars nowadays, they're hard to work on, and you can't work on them nowadays. But when I was a young man, these cars were easy to work on. Me and my buddies, we just pulled the car up underneath a shade tree, drank a couple beers, and we fixed the car in the afternoon, which is true, by the way. Cars were a whole lot easier to fix. When you look at my 2017 Jaguar XE compared to the 1951 Jaguar Mark 7, there's no comparison. On the Mark 7, everything's easy to get to. Everything's fixable. You can replace the part or fix the wire, and it's going to work every single time. But here's the caveat. It's a good thing they were easy to work on, because you were spending most of your Saturdays with your buddy under the shade tree, drinking a beer, working on your car. My Jaguar XE has never broken. It's never had a problem. It's never been in the shop for anything but routine maintenance. And this is a Jaguar, friends. This is not a Chevrolet. Cars that are prone to problems historically. And I've had no problems, okay? So it's kind of a good thing. They did fix that problem. Cars are much more reliable. Why strong? Well, they're getting away from the ICEs, the internal combustion engines, and now they're going to be all these electric pieces of crap. Well, guess what? The electric cars have a whole lot less moving parts. Translation, when they get the problem with charging and battery storage fixed, and they will, electric cars are going to be even easier to maintain, even less maintenance. So that problem is going to be fixed. We always fix the problem. How do we fix the problem of a hot summertime in St. Louis? We all have air conditioning now. All of us. Okay? That problem has been fixed. It's too hot. We have air conditioning. The problem always gets fixed. COVID or no. Right now, it's difficult to get things done. The whole doctor thing, I don't know how they're going to fix that. I'll tell you how I think they're going to fix that. Normally when you see a doctor, you see a nurse practitioner. In fact, I had a doctor's appointment this week. It was my semi-annual checkup twice a year. I'm an old man now, so I get two checkups a year instead of one. Basically, my checkup was a conversation. Sure, they took my blood pressure. They listened to my heart. They had me breathe, etc. But it was mainly a conversation just to see how things were going, if anything had changed. I can take my own blood pressure. Okay. If you don't have difficult breathing, they're not going to see anything bad. Okay. For all intents and purposes, that checkup could have been done via a Zoom call by a nurse practitioner who would give it to the doctor. And if there's any problem, then you make an appointment. That's how the problem is going to be solved. Okay. It's already kind of happening some with this virtual medical care, and it will happen even more. where you're not going to see a doctor unless you really need a doctor. The checkup, I mean, you may take your own blood pressure and upload it to the doctor's portal. I don't know. But we always fix the problem. But right now, the difficulty of getting things done, when people tire of, COVID being an excuse, perhaps things will get better. We can only hope and pray. Well, that's it. I'm done. James Strong Show at hotmail.com. That's my email address, even though the people at Club Fitness say it's not. Send me your email address. I will send you a link to the podcast. You can download it and listen to it at your leisure, or get the James Strong Show wherever you get your podcasts. That's it. I'm done. Until next time, this is James Strong saying adios.